2025 is around the corner and for Arsenal things are getting interesting. In a year they have to get over the line. Today we'll get the breaking news on Bukayo Saka, find out about potential recall for Fabio Vieira, as well as discussing Arsenal's January transfer targets. We'll find out what's happening with Matheus Cunha, discuss a potential Bundesliga target, find out what's happening with Alexander Isak, and discuss who could be starting in Arsenal's first game of 2025 against Brentford. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Bass14, welcome back to Boys channel for the final time in 2024 as Arsenal approach their first game in a brand new year and of course the start of the transfer window. As per, smash a like on the video if you enjoy and subscribe to the channel if you are new. As we approach 2025, the goal is the same, 300,000 subscribers. But starting off with the latest on Bukayo Saka, the Arsenal star boy that had been on fire this season. 9 goals and 13 assists, with 15 goal contributions to just 16 games in the Premier League. After going off against Crystal Palace holding his hamstring, Mikel Arteta confirming the news that he would need surgery. Here was Bukayo Saka himself in the hospital, confirming to fans that he had gone through surgery, with the caption "The majority see obstacles, but few see opportunities. Recovery has begun and I'm coming back stronger. Thank you for all your messages. #God's plan." Surgery was of course the worst case scenario, with even Sammy Motwell confirming that Arsenal had feared Bukayo Saka's hamstring had become detached from his bone following his injury against Crystal Palace. Essentially it confirms Mikel Arteta's quote that Saka is going to be out for over 2 months, because unlike a normal hamstring strain, it's very important to take your time, because if you come back too soon, there is a massive chance of re-injury. And for Bukayo Saka having gone for his entire Arsenal career with next to no injuries, this recovery process is going to be vital. There's a reason behind Arsenal sending him the surgery straight away. While other players have made mistakes of playing through the pain, opting against surgery and taking a different route, for Arsenal and Saka it was important to not waste any time. Take the hit now in the short term to ensure a long-term healthier play. According to John Cross though, Arteta suggests the layoff could be more than 2 months, but it's understood that Arsenal hope to have him back by the end of February. For me, it's going to be a minimum of 10 weeks. Not only does Saka have a history of hamstring injuries so far this season, having left the England squad only in November, but for Arsenal it's all about doing things correctly. I won't lie though, it is very heartbreaking. For a guy that was on 10 assists in 16 Premier League appearances, had created the most big chances in the Premier League, and had become a creative monster. Mo Salah is of course amazing and he is flying, but Saka was doing his very best to compete, on track for potentially a record-breaking season. Now the question falls to Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. Your star man is out, how are you going to respond? Well, in terms of the internal solution, come the game against Ipswich Town, Mikel Arteta turned to Gabriel Martinelli, moving him from left wing to right wing, in a game that he far from thrived in. A 6.5 rating, 2 out of 7 dribbles. Not a single cross completed. When Mikel Arteta was asked on what Martinelli needs to succeed on the right, he says Gabby needs people around him. He needs constant threat, he needs to always be in the last line when the ball is on his side. He needs relationships and he needs people close to him because he's very intuitive. He's always a threat, and I think if you're isolating him too much, we are going to suffer, especially playing with a natural threat on the right. That's things that we can evolve and improve. On paper it makes sense because Martinelli is of course a straight line runner, and by playing on the right hand side his job becomes more simpler to understand. Easier for him to make decisions when you've got a metronome Martin Odegaard next to you, providing a left-footed balance as well. An overlapping option in Yuri and Timber. He's by no means Bukayo Saka, but there's an environment there that could maximise the strengths of Gabriel Martinelli. But chemistry is not built overnight. Over his entire Arsenal career, Martinelli's mainly plays a left wing or centre forward. So in terms of a more natural right wing option, what's happening with Raheem Sterling? Unfortunately out at the same time as Bukayo Saka, despite being brought to Arsenal in the first place for this specific scenario. Mikel Arteta does have some positive news though. Sterling is expected back sooner than expected, but with only 6 league appearances so far this season, only 2 of those being starts. The question is Mikel Arteta going to trust him? Because when it comes to right wing experience, over his entire career he's played 178 games there, with 51 goals and 48 assists. An exception of his left wing numbers, Sterling has a lot of experience of playing on the right. Similar to Martinelli and being a right footer on the right, he has played there for Man City, they have won league titles. He was a part of their Centurions, but we're soon approaching 2025 and for Sterling it is going to be decisive. Because with Arsenal only allowed a maximum of 2 Premier League loans per season, when you've already got Neto and Sterling, they can't sign another league player on loan. And according to the Mirror, Sterling has no plans to end his loan spell early, despite his lack of minutes under Mikel Arteta. But talking about loanees, could Arsenal be about to recall one? We're talking about Fabio Vieira at Porto, a player with experience of playing right wing for Arsenal that was left out of Porto's last game, completely out of the squad, with the reports confirming it was due to technical reasons. Cue the rumours and cue Arsenal fans thinking, with the timing of Bukayo Saka's injury, Arsenal with a real lack of numbers going forwards, surely recalling a £35 million attacking signing would make sense on paper. But as the Porto manager confirmed himself, Vieira being recalled to Arsenal is wide of the mark, saying Fabio knows me well and we are counting on him. he will be available to play again next week, having made 9 appearances for Porto so far in the Portuguese league, 7 of those being starts. He went to Porto with an injury, struggled to make an impact straight away, but in the last few games he has started to really grow, getting back into the starting 11 and making an impact. And his last start on the 21st of December, playing on the right hand side, Vieira dropped a 7.5 rating, with 3 key passes and 2 big chances created. In just a matter of 7 starts, Vieira has already created 5 big chances. The whole idea is for him to replicate his form of 2021-22, having 5 for Porto in the first place with 40 league assists. Vieira is meant to be a final ball specialist, with the idea of going to Porto to get confidence and regain his form, then come back to Arsenal and make the impact that he was meant to make. At 24 years of age, there is still a lot of time there, but with massive impatience in the Arsenal fanbase, giving Vieira time to grow once again at Porto, regain a level of consistency, averaging an overall 7.29 rating so far in his time in the Portuguese league, with some fantastic performances in there. Talk to me down below in the comments. With no Saka and Sterling, Arsenal need more attackers. And of course we're going to be active in the market, but thinking on top of that to be extra safe, should we be recalling Fabio Vieira, or should we let him thrive at Porto? Moving on to Arsenal's January transfer plan. Approaching 2025 and a brand new year, with so many Arsenal fans so expectant, this is the year that Arsenal need to get themselves over the line, which makes his January window that much more important. In terms of the future of Partey, out of contract at the end of the season, the start of January means he will be available to speak to other clubs to agree a pre-contract, with Arsenal so far yet to offer him a new contract. According to reports in Spain, FC Barcelona are interested in signing Partey as a free agent in the summer. Likewise, I think a lot of clubs will be as well, whether it's Saudi Arabia or La Liga, maybe even the Serie A. At just 31 years of age, Partey is in his peak years, despite having struggled with a lot of injuries, disrupting his entire Arsenal career. So far this year, Partey has only missed 1 game via injury, proving his fitness and proving his reliability. But when you think about our last game against Ipswich, when Mikel Arteta is starting Rice over Partey, as he once again went for the diamond, you don't spend £105 million on a player who's a 6, to then play him as a number 8 going into the long term. Declan Rice is always going to be our long-term number 6, because Partey might have the technical edge, but when it comes to the ability to cover distances, offer Arsenal extra defensive security, that's where Rice thrives at a different level. Partey of course is still going to be useful, and games that Arsenal need an elite progressor, the profile of Partey comes to life, and for me I think Arsenal will look elsewhere. Come the summer when Partey's contract expires, he is likely to leave as a free agent, with Arsenal looking for alternative midfield options, with the name of Martin Zubimendi firmly on the list. But that's for the summer. What about January? A window often known for its opportunities, surprise deals that come out of nowhere. That's where we're looking at Barcelona's Dani Olmo. According to reliable reports in the UK, Man City, Man United and Arsenal are all on alert as Dani Olmo nears a Barcelona exit. And the question is, how could that even be? Having only signed for Barca back in the summer for a fee of €55 million, started 7 of 11 La Liga games with 5 goals. Why would Barcelona want to let go of a summer investment? Well, it all comes down to player registrations, having struggled under severe depth over the past few years. According to La Liga laws, Barca did not have any financial space to register any more players. Despite of that, they made their signings in the summer, but as BBC Sport confirmed, Barca's appeal for the precautionary registration of Dani Olmo for the rest of the season has been rejected, with other reports claiming if Olmo is not registered by December the 31st, he'll be free to sign for any club in January. So of course Arsenal, City and any other top club would be interested, with Olmo profiling as a very versatile forward, 26 years of age at the peak of his powers, having thrived for RB Leipzig for many years. This is simply a matter of the waiting game, but if we're being quite honest, I don't see Barca letting him go. I feel like they'll find a way to get the player registered, which will kill the rumour straight away. Regardless, Arsenal will have a different priority. As the Mirror confirmed, Arsenal have made a new centre forward or a wide player a priority signing this January, with Arteta seeking a player who can provide the magic moments for his team. The ideal option for me is going to be a versatile one. That's where we've got to talk about a certain star in the Bundesliga. We're talking the Egyptian international Omar Marmoush, on absolute fire for Eintracht Frankfurt, with some reports claiming that Arsenal are leading the race to sign the player, with Liverpool Chelsea also interested, as he's not responded well to Eintracht Frankfurt's talks for a new contract. And there's a reason why so many clubs want this player. 24 games, 18 goals and 12 assists. That is after thriving last year, with another 17 goals and 6 assists. 25 years of age in the peak of his powers and a very versatile option, having played most of his minutes so far this year as a centre forward, as well as playing behind the striker as a number 10, while also able to thrive on the left hand side. When you think about every single thing Arsenal are looking for, Marmoush's profile stands out straight away, averaging an insane 8.13 rating over 15 Bundesliga appearances so far this season. In terms of the ball carrying in a moment of magic, 2.6 dribbles per 90 this season, at a 55% success rate. There is not a single player in the Arsenal squad that has anywhere near that number. With that level of form, Marmoush will not come cheap, But when you think about the quality it offers, that outstanding level of ball striking from outside the box, while also being a very good carrier of the ball, it makes sense why Arsenal would have interest come this January. But to make a big signing, would they need to make a big sale? Because according to The Athletic, Arsenal may see interest in Leandro Trossard this January, having rejected a bid on deadline day last summer. This time any suitors are likely to have a similar response, with the winger remaining an important part of Mikel Arteta's plans. There was of course a €35 million offer, put on the table after the window closed. At that time everybody said no, and after seeing our injuries now, with no Bukayo Saka, no Raheem Sterling, selling one of your most versatile forwards, who scored over 15 goals last season, just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But it will be intriguing if Arsenal do receive a massive offer. Saudi clubs clearly have interest. For me, it's simple: if we let Trossard leave, it won't just be one forward signing we need to make, it would then become two. But in terms of players that we could sign in the Premier League, let's talk about the in-form Matheus Cunha, because according to the reliable Athletic, Arsenal are monitoring Cunha's progress, and the forward could become available if Wolves are to get relegated to the Championship. And let's just say this interest isn't short term, because according to the Telegraph, Cunha, who's 25, has been on Arsenal's radar for the last 3 seasons, and that makes a lot of sense by the way. Having signed for Wolves in January 2023, it was the same window a certain Gabriel Jesus was injured. There were reports at that time that Arsenal liked Cunha, with interest to sign the player. Instead we pursued a wide forward, we got Trossard instead, and Cunha was able to thrive at Wolves, with 12 league goals last season, 11 being non-penalty. So far this year he's got 10 league goals, with 0 of them being penalties. His recent form has been outrageous. Consistent 8+ ratings, goals and assists galore. Having scored 10 goals from an XG of just 4, you could argue, is he on a crazy purple patch? But having performed at such a high level last season, once again overperformed his XG by quite a bit, having missed only 6 big chances all season, maybe he's just a very good finisher, who's got electric ability in terms of beating his man, averaging 2.1 dribbles per game so far this season. In his recent performance against Man United, he was electric. An 8.9 rating, 1 goal, 1 assist, 4 out of 6 dribbles, 1 big chance created, and 13 out of 22 ground balls won. Cunha is a very active player, always trying to get himself on the ball and make things happen. For a Wolves side that struggled massively this year, lost their manager in the process, Cunha has been the shining light by a country mile. Now under a brand new coach and a contract until June 2027, his minutes have mainly come as a number 10. He can play on the left and down the middle. And the question for Arsenal is, where would Mikel Arteta see it? Would it be a replacement for Gabriel Jesus, who Cunha is a very similar profile to, or could he be moulded into a top left winger? For me, the main issue of course is going to be price tag, with Wolves trying to survive in the Premier League. To let go of their main man and star player, who they've already invested €50 million in, could be very pricey for Arsenal. But what about an opportunity coming out of Paris Saint-Germain? According to Florian Plettenberg, Kolo Muani is set to leave PSG this winter, as concrete talks with potential teams about a loan deal are ongoing. PSG would like to include an obligation to buy, with there currently being a strong chance that he'll move to the Premier League. A player that was once seen as the next big thing, now at 26 years of age, smashing in 23 goals for Eintracht Frankfurt back in 2022-23, then getting a blockbuster move to Paris Saint-Germain, worth a reported €95 million. At PSG he's been far from impressive, 54 appearances, 11 goals, having made only 2 league starts so far this year, out of 10 possible appearances. At 26 years of age and a peak of his powers, he needs more first team minutes, and for Arsenal a loan is realistic, because despite having both Raheem Sterling and Neto on loan, as the Athletic confirmed, they cannot sign another Premier League player on loan, but they can from outside the league, with even Simon Collins confirming Arsenal are likely to be offered Kolo Muani after the Bukayo Saka injury blow, but it remains to be seen if the Gunners are interested in the Paris Saint-Germain forward. In terms of profiles, this guy of course mainly plays as a centre forward, has an electric burst of pace, and if you throw back to his main year in the Bundesliga back in 2023, his finishing numbers were decent, 15 goals from an XG of 13. On top of that though, 11 assists, with 11 big chances created. Playing as a centre forward, this guy was very complete, an explosive carrier of the ball, with a massive frame at 6'2". In many ways he's a similar profile to a certain Alexander Isak, but in this case the player is available. He may not be as polished, but for an Arsenal team that needs options in attack, talk to me down below in the comments, would you make a move for Kolo Muani? Because in terms of our main target, of course we know who that player is. He plays in the Premier League, he plays for Newcastle. We're talking about Alexander Isak. But according to the Telegraph, Newcastle have slapped a £150 million price tag on Alexander Isak, with Arsenal have been long linked. Liverpool could also look to sign him to replace Mo Salah if they fail to agree a new contract. It's no surprise to hear that price tag and hear it be so hefty, but for me it's the fact they've placed it there in the first place. If a player wasn't for sale, you simply say nothing. By placing a price tag on the player, you open the chance of teams making offers, potential of negotiations to get that deal down. For me there's a sense of acceptance. Newcastle realise that in terms of Isak, he demands to play in the Premier League, and with them unlikely to get that this season, as other reports claim Arsenal's dream target in Isak is ready to leave Newcastle to join a club who can play in the Champions League regularly. This is going to be the key of making any deal happen. It is going to be mainly off the player's desire, because with a current contract until 2028, Newcastle are under no pressure to sell. If the player however makes it clear that he wants to leave the club as soon as possible, then Newcastle will lose a lot of power. It becomes a matter of cashing in as soon as possible, because each and every window the price will go down. You then think about their PSR players as well. With no European football this season, there were talks last year they had to make a few big sales. The likes of Anthony Gordon, Bruno Guimaraes and Isak, reportedly monitored by so many sites. For Arsenal, it's more of a question of when they're going to make the move. The chances of Newcastle letting Isak go in January are very slim, but having shown the pulse of Mudryk and Vlahovic, if the right profile is there and they want to make it happen, they are not scared to make offers. Then it becomes a question of how much Isak wants to move. To then watch him drop another masterclass for Newcastle, this time a 7.2 rating against Man United. With 1 goal, 4 successful dribbles, 2 key passes and 6 round balls won. Isak now has 12 league goals this season, 0 being penalties. More and more Arsenal fans are being convinced, after watching so many electric performances, Alexander Isak is the level racer to bring Mikel Arteta's Arsenal to a brand new level. But for now, our focus turns to our first game of 2025, Brentford away at the G-Tech Community Stadium. With Arsenal currently in third, a point behind Nottingham Forest in second, 9 points off first place Liverpool. In terms of Brentford, they are currently 12th on 24 points, slightly ahead of mid-table Manchester United. In terms of team news, of course, no Bukayo Saka and no Raheem Sterling. I expect a very similar lineup to the one we saw against Ipswich, because this game certainly won't be easy. Not only do Brentford have superb players on the counter-attack, the likes of Mbeumo Wissa being massive threats, we are also going away from home against a side that has a joint best home record in the league this season. 22 points so far, the same as Liverpool, with only 1 defeat and that being the last one. It's also going to be a question of style of play. Having seen so many teams this year adapt against Arsenal, go from being progressive in normal game to ultra defensive against Arsenal, Brentford have the ability with the back 5. They've got a lot of physicality there, and as we saw last year against them, if it wasn't for a last minute Kai Havertz goal, we were this close to dropping points. Something that Arsenal can't afford this time round, because after 18 games so far this year, they are 4 points behind what they were last season. But the positive is we can actually go up, because after 20 games last year, Arsenal still only had 40 points, meaning if Arsenal were to win the next 2 games, we'd go up to 42, 2 points up on last season, a year that we got 89 points, and missed out on the title by only 2. In terms of this year's title race, of course, has been another twist, as £1 billion Chelsea dropped points against Ipswich, as Omar Hutchinson backflipped on their demise, leaving Chelsea currently in 4th place, a point behind Arsenal of course have a game in hand, having won 3 games without a win, and back-to-back defeats. A team that Arsenal are criticised for only beating 1-0, time wasting in the corner, having limited to 0 shots on target all game, then go and smash 2 past a £1 billion side. If any reminder was needed, this season will have twists and turns. But that's the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow boy on all of the social media, the links are down below in the description. But that was the final video of 2024, where your support has once again been amazing and your boys finally found a level of consistency that hopefully you guys are enjoying. Approaching a brand new year onto bigger things and more blessings. As per my friends, stay tuned as always. I'll see you in 2025. Take care. In a bit.